All right, guys, I want to give you an update on what I'm going to be doing next. So, using this iron infused PLA started me thinking again because back in the day, I used to use a lot of uh, iron cores for all of my coils, and so I took some measurements. And here is the Sky Collection coil. Actually, let me get the other one. I took some measurements and I'm going to make like a container unit, but a very thin container unit that would fit inside here, right? Of course, it's going to be, here, let me get this out of here. It's going to be taller. This was a test unit just to make sure that it fit inside the coil. I'm going to make a bunch of these. They're going to be about 40 millimeters tall, very thin. And I'm going to try to use different materials, ferrite materials to put inside to use as a core material for some of these coils, just for the pickup coils. Um, I'm going to use shotgun pellets, which was suggested by a commenter. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. But he suggested, because it's low carbon, he suggested using, I think he said shotgun pellets. So I ordered some of those. I also used to use brake dust. I used to go to um, my local mechanic and get the brake dust in large quantities, and basically it's iron filings, but it's very powder like, and I have some around here somewhere, like metal filings. I'm going to use some of that. I'm also going to try, I'm going to take a clothes hanger and cut it in 40 millimeter pieces and put them vertically like this, and again with some resin. So I'm going to try a bunch of stuff. And I'm going to hopefully get one of them built today. And I'm probably going to build the um, the clothes hanger one. What I was also thinking about doing is I have a lot of these brushes that I throw away, and I believe that this part right here is magnetic. Yes, it is. It's a ferrite material and it's hollow. And I figured if I cut a whole bunch of these at 40 millimeters high and stack them in like this, and then fill the area with resin, I'm wondering with that hollow area if that would increase or decrease the magnetic field. If anybody has an idea on that, let me know. Anyway, I've got these guys printing. It takes a little while for them to print, like an hour each. So once I get one, I will come back and show you guys. All right, ciao. So I got the first one done. This is what I was talking about. Man, I hate this camera setup that I have. So here's the container, and I printed in what's called vase mode. So it prints really fast, but it's really super thin. So I can fill this up with stuff, and then it'll slide right in there like that. Oops, wrong way. Got to slide it in this way, like that. And then I can take it out, slide it in. This material right here is the brim. I'll take that off, or I might leave it in. Then I made a rectifier. And so, I'm very linear. I know there's probably an easier way to do this, but I did it basically as the instructions said to do it. So you've got all of them. So this is the AC input, these two right here. This is positive DC out, negative DC out. and I use these little things. And so now I'm going to print out a little box for this. Now these are those real hefty diodes. I also made one with these little diodes, which will probably work better. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. I think what I'm going to do is, I don't know, just use it like this. So I've got my AC inputs and my positive and negative DC output. I don't know. I'll figure something out. I know there's probably a way where I could have just done them in a line like that, but I'm a very visual person and I didn't feel like mucking around with it. Anyway, I got that set up. I've got my other one printing. I had a disaster with my 3D printer though, so I had to fix that before I can get things going. And then I have to work on what I'm going to use for materials for this first one, for this guy here, for the sky coil. I think the idea of using these is a good one, and I can do it in a way where I don't have to destroy these. I can use these like this. Actually, I could get 2 out of it and still have a good brush. And these are nice and big to fill in the area. And what I may even do is fill the insides of these with some iron powder. But I don't know if I have enough of these. Or I may just stick to the good old clothes hanger. But we'll see. Right, so that's about half of a coat hanger. So if that's about half, figure I can get, if that's half, come on. Anyway, if that's half, so hold on, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so I'm going to need about, figure if that's half, see if I can scoot these over a little bit better. It's hard doing it with one hand. Oh, you know what I can use? I just realized. Forget the clothes hanger. And I just saw what I can use on the floor. I can use finish nails. I don't know how long these are. But yeah, forget the coat hanger. Finish nails. Yeah. So I'll have to find some finish nails that are about this long, about 44, 45 centimeters. I had my thing set up kind of like a chopping block, boom, and the bucket underneath. But that is slow, tedious, and I pinched myself about 20 times, so that ain't going to cut it. But the finish nails, yeah, right, stay tuned. Check this out. So I've got both of the containers ready. I've got one for sky coil and then one for my coil. I also used that copper filament to print out some bolts and threads for my stand. I thought it came out pretty nice. The bolts and the threaded rod came together perfectly. I didn't have to do anything. It's quite awesome. Look at that. 3D printer, gotta love it. So I'm gonna put these panel nails in here. But how I'm gonna do it is, I've got this piece of plexiglass and I'm going to score lines. You can see I scored one already. I'm going to score lines across and then diagonally, and then drill little tiny holes and put the nails in, because I was going to pour a 1/4 inch of resin in there, let it set until it's, you know, really tacky, and then put them in one at a time. But that's a real pain in the butt. Anyway, stay tuned. Idea help. I'm doing this, but this is just not cutting it. First of all, I can barely see the lines that I've scribed in there. I mean, it'll work, but there's got to be an easier way. I was thinking just get a thin piece of wood and just hammer them all in there. I could 3D print it with a bunch of holes, but that's really hard to do on the 3D printer. I mean, it's easy to design, it's just hard to execute. I'm waiting on the shot to come in, the buckshot or the shotgun shot. That's low carbon, according to this one commenter. So I'm going to take that to heart and do that. What I could do is lie the nails down. I think they're too wide that way, but I could just lie them. No, I want them to come straight out. I want them to come out like this. So this would go in there. Oops. All right. That would go in there. I don't think this one was meant for this one. Anyway, something like that. But I need some ideas. Do you think the wood is a good idea, doing it on a piece of wood? Do you think just pouring some resin in there, like about a 1/4 inch till it gets semi-hard, and just pushing them in that way? I don't know. Let me know. Ciao.